Welcome to Bet Doctor Behind the Curtain. Look at how pro punters operate. I'm your host, Scoot. It's good to be back. Been a big week in racing. John Walters here. He's got the pre-workout juice, the jungle juice. I'm a little bit worried. He'd be up and about. He's got the Masters jacket on still. How are you, brother?
No, I'm just trying to live in the past. Welcome back. Where are we back from?
From last week.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, it's an interesting week, isn't it? 3 days of the Bull, Wagga Carnival, and then Hawkesbury on Saturday.
Oh, Hawkesbury. What an absolute deboner or a deflator.
Bring the mood down.
DK, you got a boner for this week? You got Nico out? Nico's...
Yeah, I'm here by myself, Scoot. Yeah, no, I've had... he's at the Bull. I've had FOMO all week, of course, as I do, up until this morning. And when I'm driving in here, and then I remember how I used to feel on the Thursday mornings there, and just like death warmed up and just couldn't wait to get out of the joint. So I'll get back there once I finish coaching junior footy and the kids grow up. I'll be back there with bells on. But no, Nico's, geez, I felt sorry for him yesterday.
That he may never have come back.
He's told me he's had some sick beats lately with their team. And I thought they're going to get a result here, the boys, with the bias and all that in their favour, and get nutted on the line. And then Travis
was it literally on the line?
Bloody hell. Poor buggers. It's a brutal game times.
Especially at those odds. Oh.
Yeah.
I thought it had won.
Oh, it was literally only on the bob, wasn't it? It was literally on the line. That was it.
Yeah, it's as sick as it gets. It's a tough caper. It's a cruel mistress, as we say, and you just need a little bit of luck to go your way. But gosh, it was a great Jack Hill ride, and they rode the bias so well. And of all people, Johnny Allen, just what he bobs up to get him. It was gut wrenching. So hopefully the guys go one better today in the Warrnambool Cup. We're obviously recording this mid-morning Thursday. It's been a massive week. Andrew Jones, RV CEO, Gonski, quietly resigns. Corporate trick from the old. Just from the ages, really. Buried away on the Friday of Anzac Day weekend. So nice little golden bullet to send him off on that Friday. That's just a classic. We're going to hide the news in a big weekend off a long weekend play. Walt?
It was a weird, the way he sort of walked off into the sunset, and didn't he give it something like the old, I was unlucky that I come in turbulent times, and changing of the board, I just want to let them have a clean slate. It's a bit of a weird one, but anyway, hopefully...
But I think the other thing was it was no shock, Scoot. Like if it was a big shock, shock horror, he's resigned or he's leaving. It wasn't really a shock, was it? So that's probably another thing that would help it smother it through.
It's probably true what he says too. If the new crew coming in, it does give them a chance to sort of appoint who they want there, right? Not work with someone that they may be having issues with. So
I think that makes sense. Yep.
We're all at the Betfair function in January. It was quite obvious to us all that something wasn't right there.
Well, he just didn't fit into the crowd a little bit, did he? And he didn't really make an effort to either, which is a double-edged sword. If you're not part of the crowd, you want to get to know the crowd, right? If you want to be engaging in that role, and he just rubbed a few people the wrong way, and it was a hard yards to get back, and I don't think he really was keen to do it. So find someone who is.
It's interesting. Gill's already down in the Bulls, so he's starting to warm the seat. It's all talk that he's going to fill the role. Interesting.
No. Chairman of the board for Gill, not the CEO. He'll be chairman of the board, then he'll employ the Andrew Jones, the next Andrew Jones. Scoot.
Just to clarify, Stan Kelly for that role. Yeah, Stan Kelly.
Yeah. Get a punter in there. That's what we need.
But it's interesting because he did make reference to how much of a breeder he is, how he's been hands-on with the farm. He loves to have a punt, so it'd be interesting.
Loves it, Gil. It's been in the whole life. So that's the sort of person we need in there, right?
Hopefully, old Jimmy can get in his ear. Obviously, James has had his own little endeavour with Foxcatcher. I'm not sure how that's going at the moment, but he'd be well aware how important the wagering side of things are, and hopefully it's not another big win for the breeders because the wagering mess at the moment needs to be cleaned up. And hopefully,
you alluded to last week they're sort of heading down the right path on paper. The Victorian guys, they're at least observing the landscape and seeing where things need to be adjusted, and hopefully they're on the right path to at least some sort of retribution.
As DK mentioned too, Gill can wear many hats. He can get a lot of people to cooperate, and he probably knows a thing or two about grass, given that AFL is played on various different ovals, and that seems to be a big sticking point at the moment, and not just for Warrnambool. We actually put this tweet out and a little bit of a poll out because there's not many tracks that are absolutely flying at the moment, and we asked our Twitter fans to judge and sort of adjudicate on what was the major problems with Australian racing. And
why didn't you get the arse man on the show, mate? He wants to jail anyone who waters the track after acceptances time. He wants them to go to the big house.
I thought that was an interesting tweet from Nick Ashman, and obviously racing and financial markets are governed a lot differently, and thank God, because
it's a stretch.
It is a big stretch. But the question I did pose to our Twitter audience was, why is Australian horse racing having so many problems with their racetracks? And so the first one was climate rainfall, which got 6% of the vote, watering policy 45.8%, poor turf and drainage 13.9%, all of the above 34.3%. So multiple problems, and I wasn't sort of pointing fingers at staff or anything like that, but I think the policy was the overriding winner, which doesn't surprise me. And I did like your response there, cloud seeding, and your little diagrams with the plane and the chemical going into the cloud and then extra rain falling. I'm not sure if they ran out of budget up in North Korea to flood the Bull. They've obviously spent it all trying to flood Queensland.
Well, photos like what they showed there with who was it, Mike Simons or someone, where they're clearly not watering the inside. Yeah, it's just not good for racing, is it? And I know that we live in a little Twitter bubble, and a lot of the world doesn't see racing the way we do, so they miss it and they don't probably care. But it can't be good. You got like Hawkesbury fellow, you got 40 mils, 50 mils of rain. The podcast this week, he's watering the track on Monday. It's like, come on, guys, like, give us a chance. But at the end of the day, we just keep arguing. We don't care as long as we know. Tell us they've rolled the inside and they've put 25 mils on the outside. We'll do our best, but we just need to know what's going on. And Canterbury was a good example yesterday. At 7 o'clock in the morning, it was still a good 4 with no rain. 7:03, it's 12 mils overnight and a 7 or something. Like it just need to be better flow of information to everyone. And then no one really, you want to have the tracks as fair as possible, but we want to know what's happening more than that.
My gripe with it isn't so much for the punters, and obviously I'm pretty pro punter here. I couldn't be more keen to support the punter because I know how hard it is, and obviously
punting is everything.
Yeah, well, it pays for the show, but the other people that pay for the show, and especially the Bull, the participants here, anyone that owns a horse or bought a horse, try to set it and peak it for a horse, a lot of these people just only want to win one race there. So they've invested either 1, 2, 3 or more years into getting a horse there. And to cop that is not good enough. It's the best carnival, but it's the worst track. And the track manager has had time to fix it from the debacle, a couple of months ago. And he's made it worse. He's not improved it. He's somehow made an absolute mozza of it. And at the moment, there's no policy saying you can't move the fence. Someone had to know that the fence was going to be completely off there, and it's a massive own goal or own foul that they haven't moved the rail. And it's a day late. It's a buck short for day 3 of the carnival to now move the fence. Like it's almost spitting in everyone's face.
Is it true they rolled the fence and didn't water it? Is that true?
Not sure. A lot of it's sort of hearsay at the moment.
I think they actually said that, didn't they? Someone did. I might be imagining it, but I thought they actually said they rolled the inside and didn't water it because they were trying to match it up.
Well, they did some ratings on it. Must have been, when was it? Whenever Monday, and the inside was a level or two below the middle. So that's why that photo went out. Mike Simons put that photo out without the context from the track manager, who was very disappointed that Mike put that out and didn't ask him or speak to him about it. So he said he was trying to level that up to the ratings, as they do all the time, checks and balances. It raced fence on, which it does every year, races fence on the first day. Then it gradually comes off on the second day, and then it's do your best on the third day. But particularly yesterday, the issue was that it raced how it did on the second day. And the whole thing with these is it's because of the jumps. They're preparing for the jump. They're pouring a shitload of water on it because it hasn't rained. They missed all that rain we've had in Melbourne coming down from the north. The Western District never got it. So he's been pouring water on it since January. They haven't had any rain since January. So you know what artificial watering does to tracks. We all know that. And that's what's the constraints. But as with the policy, it's got to be a soft 6 for the jumpers. And that's what's led to what's happened yesterday. So, Yes. Anyway, so today it wouldn't be out of the question to be polar opposite today. Even watching Jabberwockies get home like Chautauqua in the last yesterday. Who knows what going to happen today? But yeah. Anyway, but that's good. I understand your point of that. But if you go to the Bull, the people who take horses to the Bull generally go there every year. You know what the track's going to serve up. There's just that one. If you want a non-pacer on the first day, give you the tip. You're not taking a run-on horse there on the first day, and you're taking something you want to run on the third day. But yes, they were affected yesterday. I'll grant you that. But anyway.
There were some sleepy rides, so you try to work out the form would be fun out of being a form analyst. Holy cow.
Yeah, and I spoke to Tristan last night. Obviously, we're running the Battle of the Bull, the tipping contest, which has been relatively popular, but Tristan
I haven't enjoyed it at all, being at the tail of the field throughout.
At least you got involved, but he said that turnover was down 42% year on year, and so he said he compared that to the last two Warrnambool Carnivals. So that's a massive problem, and it even come through with Mike Simons' tweet. And again, we said it before, wagering drives this game, and people just aren't betting. Mike Simons tweeted out yesterday, "It'll be interesting to see how year-on-year wagering performances figure at the Bull. Plenty of punters have either taken the bails off, meaning stop punting, or they're chipping down materially." And Mike has a bit of a swing, and he'd be well amongst the betting ring in there, and he's a savvy punter, and he's got his finger right on the pulse about not just jumps, wagering and all issues.
It's a jumps carnival, and jumps aren't betting races, really, are they? So that's the other thing there. Like, it's a jumps carnival. The track's prepared for jumps, and jumps are for participants. They're not really for betting on. So, but the fact that it's down, I know.
Down.
As a punter, you didn't want to have a bet before you saw 2 or 3, 4 races yesterday. You just said, I'm not betting in the first few races. Unfortunately, they were all the maidens.
I leave the house twice a week, right? And I go bowling, right? And on Wednesday nights, there's like whatever it is, and it's dead set Battler Central, which is me. And they've had like 20 people out of, 49? So say 100 pull out this season because they can't afford it. $30 a week to bowl or whatever, and it's a recreational thing, which to me in line is the working man's punting. It's not good. So we've got to do everything we can to keep it up, not handicap it any further, because I think the 42% is not just because of the track. It's obviously the economic climate as well.
Mm. Yeah, it's a doozy, and that's why I keep emphasising. I hope Gil's got his punting hat on, not just the breeder angle, because it definitely needs some tinkering, and I'm hearing it's going to happen. But I guess it sort of needs to be seen before it's sort of believed, especially how things have been going for the last 18 months. There's just so much counterintuitive behaviour going on to drive turnover, and that's to Nick Ashman's credit. I know he's gone a little bit overboard, and it's a far-fetched angle to say that you can't water the tracks after they declare final field and affecting financial markets and things like that. But in the interest of turnover and on a serious point of view, if there were more good 4 tracks, wagering would naturally increase. People who would have more confidence. People start to throw their hands in the air, and the game gets harder the softer the course gets. And as soon as it gets to a heavy or severe bias like we see, people just stop betting, or they give up, or they go and bet somewhere else. And the problem is, then they'll go bet on a different location.
Yeah, and you add in on top of that the 130 and everything that everyone's betting into. So someone saying was it a hurdle race? It was a good betting race. I think there was a short price favourite, whatever. They were like 123 was the lowest corporate 2 minutes out. No money in Betfair. Gary Forrester was tweeting saying like 2 minutes from Tari the other day. They're 125. There's 4,000 in the totes. Can anyone point me to a place where I can please have a bet? There's a lot of friction everywhere, but you just hope Gil might be the bloke. It's only one PRA, like Victoria probably, or New South Wales is the ideal. Just need to sort of band everyone together to bring all the issues we've got to the top and then start chopping the heads off what we need to bring them all in line.
The Battle of the Bull has been an epic for the first couple of days. Brian Sachs won the first day, $127.80. He found a 30-1 winner in the second last race of the day, which catapulted him to the top of the overall leaderboard. But Zachy Kennedy got his measure yesterday, and these guys are sort of there's a breakaway in day 3 of the competition. So I won't talk about it too much, but it's been pretty good little comp, this one, I think. $153 for your $1 each way over the first 2 days is the winning score after 2 rounds. And then you've got Brian Satch at $152, $125, and then $112. And then the 6th placing there is, or the 5th guy's $91 and $86 there. So be interesting to see if they mow them down. Obviously, the races 9 and 10 are worth double points, but $1 each way, I think it's worked out pretty fun for people that haven't been able to have a bet this year, and I guess it's kept everyone with a relative bit of interest. So any feedback, whether you've liked the comp, whether you've hated it, whether you'd change some of the rules, or maybe you should pick your own race to do the double dividends, give us some feedback. If you've joined the competition, DM us on Twitter or send us an email if you like Battle of the Bull. But importantly, big thanks to TopSport for chucking the cash in, and Punting Form for the subs, and can't wait to see someone sail over the top here. Like yesterday, poor old Joshy Lenner, he had a lead all day, and then Schultz hit the line at $24 a place, and someone got double divs that one. So he got run down by James Rice on the last race of the day, or the second last race of the day yesterday, to blouse him. So it's never over till it's over, and it'll be interesting to see if any roughies lob today. But cool little tipping contest. If you guys want more of them, let us know, and we can try and wheel a couple out if we get some more support and some good prizes for punters. All right, let's get our teeth sunk into this week's show. Donnie was good last week. He had Gringotts getting the chocolates at Tamworth. He goes back to retreats back to Eagle Farm. Won't be alone. John Walter's going to put the kibosh on Hawkesbury, which is looking like it's going to get anywhere up to 20 mil of rain Friday, Saturday. So it's a tough track at the best of times to try and find some value. So you're going to come up north to Eagle Farm.
Mate, I spent, 2 or 3 hours on Hawkesbury yesterday, wanted to jump off a cliff, went bowling, got myself centred again, came home, had another look, thought, tough, went to bed, woke up, thought fresh, I'll go again, 2 or 3, mate, just too hard. So we're retreating to easier Eagle Farm. If Donnie can find a winner there, surely we're a chance.
Got to be a chance. Nico Noonan got Barclay Square back into the winner's circle, and there's no easy task there. Good Luke Curry ride. He's on fire at the moment, and the top's 2 special saluted last week. So I think it was Gringotts into Barclay Square for anyone that was brave enough. I tried to nudge you boys.
Even when it was like 2 in front with 100 to go, you were still thinking it was going to get beat Barclay Square. Like, it was just outplugged them, didn't it? Especially the bias was a little bit against it, wasn't it?
I was clenching my nuggets there, and definitely needed it. It was a testing week. I'm not seeing them like beach balls at the moment, but I'll bounce back this week. DK, you're seeing them like beach balls, and you're stepping up to the plate again. Metro DK, Group 1 DK, you can do it all.
Yes, Criv and Trent, got one home for Trent. That was good. Geez, I've had hollow victories the last 2 ones. I just wish it'd keep going like that, just straight to the front and see you later. But both won by about 5 links each, so let's hope we can keep it going this week.
I've got full faith.
For it, wasn't it? It was awesome.
You probably sent me 1 too many replays. You got on a bit replay happy, but
content.
Loved it that it was in early too. Walt, DK had his homework in by 6:15 this morning.
6:15.
Yours very late.
Mate, well, I had to change venue. I had to change tact, and wasn't even sure if I was going to be allowed to. I was surprised I had that much leniency, but Hawkesbury could be off. The bloke could be watering the track now.
The sad part is it's probably true. Estriella, I took her on last week. Learning to fly was a saver. That was a heartbreaker, but good to see Lockie Neindorf win. Good story there, but everyone...
I still watch the replay and think Learning to Fly is going to win me a length and a half with 50 to go.
It's only Brent Davis.
Poor old
I've made up the inside.
He didn't see it, did he?
Someone early crowed it. Someone somewhere early crowed it. That was obviously, wasn't it? Someone's just mouthed it.
I was in a coma at the 200 because it's my favourite horse in the world, Learning to Fly, and I'm just watching it unleash going, oh my God, it looked like Divine Madonna coming down the middle. I'm like, oh, and I did not see that. I've never been, I don't know, it was like mixed emotions, wasn't it?
It was a bit Divine Madonna-ish.
It was weird. It was a good win too, because it was in the same spot. I know it cut under him, but it was a good win.
No, is she going to back up in the Goodwood?
Yeah, and our other favourite horse will be in there too. Is it Sunbird or whatever it's called? What's it called? Sun something? I think that one.
Skybird. Yeah.
it was a little bit flattered, so it'll be an interesting race.
SAW this week, so I'm going to tackle that. And there's another little black booker pop up there. TopSport Steam, yucky, 0 from 4 last week. Real yuck stuff.
Good for Tristan. Good for Tristan.
Great for Tristan.
Yeah, Tristan. We're trying to milk him dry everywhere else, so we need him to win somewhere.
Top 2 special. Make sure you check out Top 2 special. Get in a roll. We'll jam up 2 of these bets and try and get them a couple of weeks in a row. But the Top 2 special has been better lately. Been picking the right ones and ducking a few bad ones. So we're one in a row. So we'll try and make it 2 this week. Top Sport, as I said, they'll have the Top 2 special. They got protest payout, which saved us in the syndicate yesterday. We had the first winner at Ipswich. And there was a protest. So if you were betting at Betfair, which we sent out non-Betfair for the fixed price for our units there, you get the protest payout at TopSport. So make sure you check that out. They've got Top Fluck. They're Australian-owned and operated. Bob on Group 1s, which is good. And they'll be charging into the Brisbane Winter Carnival. So I'm tipping they'll have some specials on over the Winter Carnival, which will be good. And Caulfield this weekend, DK, with your Metro hat on. Let's have a look at race 2, the market here in the MRC Plus benchmark 78 over 1100. Mal Wallach is the favourite here for Uncle Lindsay and Taylor Childs, $1.95. Wakan Jaja is $3.90. Miss Chrissy $7.50. Excess $9. Lady Di 14. Girls $17. And Bill CL $21. Couple of replays we're going to have a look at for the favourite. You want to be with it. Mal Wallach, this is its last start win at Hamilton.
Yeah, this is back in October. This is just sitting behind these leaders. Odds on, for short odds these days, and it's going to be a moral, but just have a look at the way it wins. Like, it just gives it a little click up. And we used to have a comment, a video comment when I was at Mark Reed's. We had a comment that was like, these are racehorses, and we had it in capitals, racehorse. This is a racehorse. You'd put alongside this horse. This is everything you like. It's got early speed. It parks up there. It's got acceleration. It should be 5 from 5. This is a ripping trial. This is it, just down the front there. This is the lead-up trial. Leading in. Lindsay said he could have ran it at Warrnambool this week, but he wants to run it here for the better prize money. So this is 57.4. I think 2 seconds quicker than any other heat. Torgine and the Open coming in behind it like it's just smoked to the line here. So it resumes. T-Child gets the 3 kilos off. Just once or to the time it got beat, it was just iffy out of the gates. It just jumped sideways. Ollie ended up out the back. Moral beat at Moonee Valley. So if it jumps, then parks 1-1 outside lead, something like that. A bit of speed drawn outside it. I mean, this is well, even though it's out of trust, and he goes, this is a half to Schwartz that good horse. So it's well bred, aiming up to get the black type. Lindsay, I remember Lindsay said after one or second win or something that it's immature. It's just immaturity. It's going to get better with maturity. And this is a proper horse. This Mar Wallach. So as long as the little girl can get it out of the gates, get it up there, early speed. The second thing, this Waka Juju or Waka Jaja or something.
Wakan Jaja, yeah,
over from South Australia, changed stables to Stokes. But it's got best left alone early. It's got a withering burst late, but needs to sort of get back, run on, that sort of horse, So Caulfield, you want to, if it'd been Flemington or somewhere else maybe, but Caulfield, you want to be, it leads itself to the ones up the front. I'm not sure it'll barrier 7. It's going to have to give Mar Wallach a few links. Don't know if it can round up Mar Wallach. And a little place chance, I thought, for Lady Di. Lady Di went 1 well, first up B-Shin, just camped off him as best she is, then ridden upside down facing the breeze at Flemington. Jay Noonan alternatively rode a quiet at Mornington the other day, got completely lost on it. So Jay Mott, I like Jay Mott, very good rider for a horse like this. Will sit 3 back the fence. Last time track and distance in a similar grade, it started 380 and got through late, hitting the line. So thought it could run a place at it's going to be $13 or $14, sort of just mind its own business behind them. But no, this is a proper horse, Mar Wallach.
I know that Wakan Jaja quite well from my little flirts over in Adelaide, but definitely it would need the Climbing Star feed to beat home Mal Wallach. Mal Wallach's a better horse than it, I assure you, DK.
Yep,
and interesting to note with Mal Wallach, Mel Julius it's carried, won easily, Lachlan Overall,
so that's why I didn't
easily.
Mind the little girl on it. I didn't mind. Like if it'd been, there's one later on, I think it's Munamek had all these top-class riders on it. Now they go for the 3 kilo apprentice. We'll talk about that in the next race. But so that's why I don't mind that the girl's on it, Scoot. Lindsay would have thought about it. And
it's quite comical. It's quite comical that Ollie's the only one that that got it beat, and it was the biggest thing beat you've ever seen. You've absolutely nailed that, and I think that will be a multi-anchor for many, many punters. And as you say, DK, that trial looks Mickey Mouse for that.
So seeing how Lindsay's horses have run off those Terang set of trials, first up at the Bull, I mean, just ready. Even Tuvalu winning over 1,200. When he had the 40 to 1, or the thing of good odds in the maiden, moral beat, write your own. He had that another thing, all off that set of trials, give them that trial into their first up run. They've all run well.
Rubber stamp, love it.
I love the breeding. Trust in a gust out of Is It a Mosquito?
And Is It a Mosquito is the mother of Swat's That.
Swat's that? Well named, Swat's That.
It's Walla Walla. I don't know what that is.
All right, I think we've talked everyone into it, so pray that Taylor Childs can give it a peachy
Just
and
get it
bounce
out of the gates.
Get it out. Caulfield Race 7 is the next one. It's the IVE benchmark 100 over 1,600 metres. Belplaceur is the favourite here, $4.60. In the Wilderness, this horse, I think, here to shock for $80. Moonamek, $5. El Solido, DK's favourite horse, $5.50. Dashing, one of mine, for $7. Carini, not one of mine, but better suited back to 1,600, I think, $7.50. Macram, $9. Virtuous Circle, one of Scooty's, $20. Smoke and Romans, $26. And Deep Strike, $34. Wow, a few little beaten up Warhorse, horses here. A lot of these have been around the block a couple of times, DK, but El Soliado, your little Dunny Door horse here.
I'm half married to this, aren't I? But geez, this was a good win. Okay, so you've got all the horses on the rail. You've got Sabark, you've got Just Folk led. I think you've got Stage Man coming through on the inside. This at 3 wide with the trail. And just when he goes for it here, unleashes the second best last 200 of the meeting. And the mile in the Golden Mile is a miler. Like he just launches late. Foxy Frida's in behind him. We know how she can finish a race. He's like deep in he's not. He had that little freshen up after the Peter Young, which is his only blemish for the prep. And they had horses like Gold Trip and Vow Declare running past him, and Unusual Culture, Cape Nessa, had a freshen up. Flemington got stuck in behind him, which is not really ideal for him. He was probably moral beat there behind Aaron Bay. Then he goes there and does that. Then he's had the little, which you're not showing it, but he had the little spin around in an 800-metre jump out on Monday, or just gone on the Monday before, and just smoked, just trucked. Robbie Lang said he's going to the paddock soon, which he's entitled to, but I mean, he's an 800-metre jump out. He ran horses like Holy Lolly, very sharp 1,200-metre horses, and he just smoked to the line. Barrier 4 here, I like P. Maloney's had a ride on him. Okay, he's got a little flat spot. Okay, P. Maloney did say he wanted to be in the first 4 at Bendigo, but he just was a little bit grubby out. Settled where he did, so I'm Tim in first 4, probably 1-1 tomorrow, on Saturday. Get winding him up, and he's a line finder. He's just a good horse, this horse. I'm telling you, this is a good horse. He's going to go up in the grades. Here to Shock's the other one. As I said, Munamek's got the little girl on it. It's deep in its prep. I'm not sure. She just looks through all its riders, Zara, Shin, Ollie. Now it's going to T-Bull. I know she got the money with them on Edison the other day, but that's a leader with no weight. This is sort of run-on horse, Munamek. Here to Shock's the other one, who's obviously got that good form, beats Sione, Victoria Handicap, but it's sort of, I just think El Solido can be stronger than it at the mile. I think preferred. We're here to Shock at 1,400. It's at 8 goes at the mile. It's had 2 wins, but then 6 blemishes, no placings. So I just think El Solido can be stronger than it at the mile, and then Dashing and Belplaceur, a bit off last start. They can bounce back to some degree, but this is a good horse, El Solido. He's just a line finder. So I'm happy to stick with him, El Solido.
My only concern with him, and you've sort of referenced it already, is if he just comes to the end of the prep. So this.
That's why I'm going up that jump out scoot. That's why I put it in, because it's just, mate, he just trucked. That's not a tight. That's 800 metres too. 800-metre jump out, sharpness. So I don't know what Robbie Lang. He's just unbelievable. Robbie Lang, what he's done the last 6 months with his horses. But yeah, I thought maybe that was my issue. Scoot maybe going to the well once too often. And then I saw the jump in between. I said,
that'll do.
You're still flying this horse.
Oh yeah, I think Belplaceur, I'd be happy to lay. I think Dashing's not going as good. Also, Tatum, she outrode Linda the other day. Which is surprising for the same trainer. So there's a little bit of an affiliation there with Tatum and Nick Ryan. So one to watch there. Here to Shock, I echo your comments there. And I'll be interested. Carini's had a tiny little bit of a freshen up, almost a month. And I didn't like it in the Vic Gold Cup.
Disappointing horse. It's had its chances early in this prep and it's right races and hasn't performed. It's in the Wilderness, that horse.
I think he's a 1,400, 1,600 metre horse tops. 1400 is probably his go, Carini. So this could be his outer limit. And I couldn't believe Danny O'Brien, after the Vic Gold Cup, persisted with him in the Easter Cup. It was utter madness to run that horse again over 2,000 metres. So he's starting to put the horse into a better distance. But DK, I reckon you're right. If this horse jumps and, as you say, the jump out, he's feeling good. He's going to give this a hell of a shake. And tell you what, they've backed the absolute pants off this horse, El Ciliato, on a couple of times. So if he stays firm in the market,
it's 10-5 already, I think.
Bloke with Blind Freddie again at the tote just put up the prices off the acceptance of the noms. So who knows what he's doing there? He could just put up $10 off that win in the last section the other day. Please. But who cares? It's off again. The robot's back at the bloke with the bloody automatic accounts who put programs it in, and you can't beat him to the price anyway. So I just ignore that these days. It's all head noise.
What after back and forth with that fella on Twitter yesterday, he's like talking about what is the early betting telling us about the two Kersley runners, Tuvalu and the other thing that he had in. Like, mate, they haven't even started betting yet. Like, it just means nothing. They put up 650. Why they put this thing 650? Because it's a Lindsay Smith horse with a lightly raced. Looks like it's been set for it. That's about as deep as their form study gets.
You can get on for what, a trip to Bali and back.
The last 5 minutes. That's it.
Yeah. All right, Eagle Farm, great stuff, DK. Caulfield, right. Beautiful. And we've got a little bit of a tail end of the provincial stuff, so we're making him work overtime down there, but I think he's going to go very close to 2 from 2 down at Caulfield, and some great bets there. Eagle Farm, Waltz flying north for the winter, Hawkesbury underwater. So the first race we're going to have a look at is the time on Dalrello over 1,000. It's race number 6. Mashani Lily is the $2.60 hot pot here. Embassy $3.40. Lead Me On has been off the map here. 13 into $6.50. Chris Anderson yard. Zuna $8.50. Pareto $8.50. Madrina $12. Espiono is $18. Insist $21 from the Michael Friedman camp. Tommy On, and then you got the Hamo at $41. This looks a pretty good race. You got Queensland's up and comers against a couple of Sydney Raiders, and really interested to see why you've come up with Madrina here, Walt. The first replay we're going to have a look at is the last start at Canberra, and you can tell us why you like it.
Yeah, so this is King of Rousseau, who's gone on to run pretty well in some high sort of stakes races. And, I think you can see it was a good ride this day for King of Rousseau to take the front seat outside. They gapped the rest. She's come back, had 2 really good sound outs in the trials. We saw was it Toke yesterday of Gaze. I just love when she does get them sort of ready for these first up runs. They're so tough. It didn't look like it was trialling that well, Toke, and then it sort of gapped them yesterday when it finds the front. As you said, it's a decent race. This is probably the latest trial where Rachel's on it and gives it the Schumacher treatment up the straight here and puts 5 or 6 on them. And again, it's probably not visually that impressive because of the pressure she does put the horse on. But I love that the horse is going to be tough, and that's what you love from this stable. It's $12. That's the reason why I like it, to be honest. I think it's sort of a good each way chance. Mashani Lily was just spiked out of nowhere last start and put 7 on them. I don't know what to do with that. If it somehow repeats that, you've really probably racing for second. It draws the inside gate this time and a race with more pressure. So it's probably the other reason I'm betting in the race. Just I love betting against those sort of spikes, especially deep into the prep when it hasn't done anything. Like its form was okay, but that was just crazy, and I don't know where it came from. So if it repeats that, maybe it can win. Embassy to me, I thought was the danger of Snowden horse. It's had a couple of runs in City that were solid. Then a trials back. The reason why it looks like the Stalker draws low. Tommy come to ride it. I'm hoping that I don't think Gaze is going to lead this race. If it leads, I think it'll be in the finish. But I think it'll sit 3rd, 4th with Hippo on and hopefully get over the top of them. It's just a real value play in a really quite a solid race playing against the locals and. Yeah, it's just a decent value option on the Hippo train.
I'd be probably in the camp of Zuna over Mashani Lily, but I think the Sydney horses, as they usually do, they just go up to Queensland and make a bit of a mockery about them. So
it looks like it needs a bit further. It's not. I agree. I think it's a better horse sooner than Mashani Lily, but I thought it might. Win 1,000, then it was the other day 1,100. I think it's off at like a 42-day fresh and back, but I'd rather see it sort of 1,200, 1,400 the way it races and. I was just hoping he'd get a little bit outpaced. The one up the top had good form and run down late by El Morzillo last start, who'd probably start $1.60 in this off its last start effort, but it was absolutely murdered that day, El Morzillo. So I'm hoping that's a little bit flattering and drawn wide. It's going to have to work. Just it's a bit of a balancing act, Madrino. I just sort of kept coming back to it as the best each way option. Hard fit Gay Waterhouse horse, so it's going to be right up there throughout, over 1,000. And if there's any weaknesses, it'll keep bobbing.
I didn't mind the run of the Hamo actually on debut in that the Magic Millions debutante race over 1,000 metres, but I wasn't really expecting him to come into a race this sort of tough. So it'd be interesting to see if they place him here now that he's got barrier 15, the Hamo at $41. So if he bobs up somewhere else in a easier race, or if he runs a big race here, you could probably follow him and he'll knock his maiden off soon. But
you see Tommy tweeting why they're only running 10. It is a bit of a weird one, isn't it? Obviously 7 metre rail, that chute, they can only run 10, but it is a shame that they're using a start there that can only accommodate 10 runners.
And they can only use half the track because the fence is completely cactus because they've overwatered. They've cut all the rain.
There. It's just, yeah.
It's another one of these scenarios where the track's just gone to buggery. Yeah, we've got Navesh down here, and then Eagle Farm have got their own dramas. So what the sad part is, Eagle Farm was racing absolutely beautifully for such a long time, and this overly wet summer, and these policies are trying to water the crap out of the tracks. It's not working. So common sense needs to prevail at some stage. For us punters and for participants who are paying all these fees to get their horse to the actual race instead of just urinating money up the wall. The next race is a beauty. Race number 9, Queensland Guineas, 1,600 metre race. Beautiful. Ducasse. A couple of these Sydney horses have been up longer than the Eiffel Tower. Interesting to see how they'll go. Ducasse, $6. Presslink, $6, Kintyre $8, Razors $8, Port Lockroy $8, Robrick $9, Transatlantic $10, Cafe Millennium $14. Interesting to see him there. Mr. Kipchoge is $15. Jewel nominated there, might not run. No jockey listed. Caracas is $17. Then Easy Done $20, and then you've got Encoder at bigger odds there as well. So. Bit disappointing, I thought. Easy Done last start at John Allen's Flying North to partner him again. Replay we're going to have a look at here is one of Walt's Lovechild. He tipped it on the show last time, and wow, was it a run. Port Lockroy with Adam Hieronymus. It's back on the fence in the yellow and white. Yucky.
Yeah, so he got no tempo. He just dragged it straight out the back from the terrible draw that day, which is what we were worried about. And we probably get that again here, obviously. It's drawn 19, but up to the mile, you can see it's very hard for a horse like him to shift the way he is here, and then he only really gets balanced up for like 20 metres, and even through the line, you're like, he should have won that race, all things being even. I was concerned about him staying at 1,400 last time. I thought he was already probably looking for the mile there, but he had I think, like 6-week break between runs. His 2 runs back had just been awesome, against the bias at Canberra, and then he had everything against him there. So just odds wise, we're getting whatever it is, $8, $9, something like that. He's going to need some luck. We should get more tempo in this race, hopefully. Bigger field and out to the mile. He shouldn't need as much luck. Ducasse was insanely good last start, but as you sort of alluded to, it's now 4 weeks since that. 6th up there off a heavy track gutbuster where it was ridden forward on a fast speed on a heavy surface. I don't mind the 4 weeks between runs, but it's still got to be a bit of a give up that, it probably needed that. And if it can sort of just back that effort up again, it's drawn horrible. Kintyre's 6th up, coming back 400 metres off a heavy 10 run. Does draw the gate and gets a strange rider selection there, but will get a nice run. I think that's the strongest form. Cafe Millennium certainly brings a little bit of interest to the race. It's a weird one. I think Transatlantic's flying. And who was the other horse you sort of mentioned there? Mr. Kipchoge down the bottom, but he's looking for the Derby. I think that'll be their lone goal with it. Razors is in Sydney as well, so keep an eye on whether it comes in or out. But I think a mile's far enough for it. I just think Port Lockroy is a really good horse. That 2,000 metres is probably his sort of wheelhouse. So a strong 1,600. If Hippo has any luck, sort of tracking up behind, as long as this 7 metre rail doesn't play crazy on speed or something silly. It's sort of even track, even tempo. I can't see this horse not running.
Just got to find the right
well.
bum.
Yeah. So it's a bit of a juggling act, and it's again a bit of a value play. But I think he's the right horse. We just need a little bit of luck for sure.
Oh yeah, and I've got a bit of a. I'd rather side with all the Sydney siders over the daybreak lover form at the moment, especially over 1600 metres. But I agree with everything Walt said. So happy to back Port Lockroy with a fair bit of confidence in that one. But could easily see Ducasse or Kintyre or something just rock hard fit, grubbly, knocking him off if he doesn't get the luck from that sticky gate. But we'll be in the cupboard with Hippo and probably on Walt's Kickstream. Go around again.
Yeah, Kickstream. Why not? I'll just sit there and bag Hawkesbury all day. No, I won't. I would never do that. I love New South Wales racing. I actually probably will spend. I'll put context to it. Every horse is full of 10 or 15 of the same horses. Then you throw in Hawkesbury track, which is nearly impossible to read, wet track. You got to find the right lane. So now it's all about really luck. That's why I'm not bagging the meeting or the horses. It's just the context of how it sort of falls. I'll probably concentrate on Eagle Farm and your Morphettville. I think they look like where the better racing is on the weekend.
It's a matter of time before we come over to SA. It's beautiful over there. Racingwatch.com.au for Johnny Stuff. Get in his Discord channel. It's really good in there. People tipping winners left, right and centre. Or you can just go Telegram if you just want to take his sheets and his tips and have no head noise. And the kick channel that he does, pretty good. Sometimes he takes his pants off and he definitely needs to spend more time out in the sun given how pale he is. You might get a sunscreen sponsor.
I'm so white.
You need to get out there in the sun.
It's actually embarrassing.
I want to believe that you live in the Gold Coast.
Well, I don't. I live in a dungeon.
Morphettville has got Derby Day over there, and the first race we're going to have a look at is the Queen Elizabeth Cup. A couple of my favourites over here. The map, it's a 2,500 metre race. It's a Group 3. The map is favourite, $2.60. First Immortal, $2.90. Aberfeldy Boy, $3.20. Disagreeable Miss, $15. Crimson Vine, $21. And no point talking about any of the rest. Horse I like here, which keeps going off. I'm not surprised it's $3.20, but you get $3.70 when I looked at the prices around the traps earlier. It's Aberfeldy Boy, the horse I like here. And I think this is one of DK's horses back in the day, but you can see him in the white and red in this race. And you got Deny Knowledge, who's since run well, Future History, First Immortal. These horses were all down the bottom of the weights in the Caulfield Cup, all fighting out positions in the Moonee Valley Cup and things like that. So these are decent horses. You got Berkeley Square, which sort of gets cut off here. He's come out and won since. And I thought it was just the perfect priming run for stepping out and trip. I think I mentioned in Walt's chat room that I was surprised that Griffiths the Cock weren't going to claim last week, I think at Flemington. They had him in the 2,500 or 2,800 metre race. They scratched him. I think this is a better situation here. He gets a kilo or a kilo and a half for First Immortal since they met last time in the replay that we just shown. The map's weighted up to her best at 57 kilos. This is just the perfect storm for him. He's got Michael D, who rides stays supremely well. He gets the big roomy track of Morphettville. And I think it's going to take a world of beating. And no surprise, I think they're bet 420. I saw 370, and I think it should be favourite here.
I looked at the Derby. I didn't really look. I looked at a quick look in the right field. But what I did see was I don't know what they've done with First Immortal. What they do to him after the first up win. Like, seriously.
I don't know.
He's the one I didn't like here. I thought the map, J. Carr will give it every possible, just sucking him behind it. And Aberfeldy's the one ready to elevate up in trip. But I don't know what they've done to First Immortal after that win. He crabbed up the straight at Caulfield, down on the inside. And then, again, the other day was plain. So, the First Immortal, don't know what they're doing.
It's a pretty tough race, the Easter Cup. So the pattern of this horse is usually 2 weeks when he's up and going, Aberfeldy Boy. But that's the only negative I can find is the gap between runs. But there's not a lot of this horse, and given it was a pretty fast overall time, I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt and think that everything's still A-OK with him. And he's not the biggest, grossest horse, so he can probably, giving him time to get over the run, I think he should be the way I want to go into this race. But I agree with DK, what he says with the map being the big danger. First Immortal, sadly, is gone. So not sure if they need a bit of a stable change or he's got an injury or there's, little bleeds. I don't know what's going on with the horse, but he's just not the same, which is Sad because I thought he was going to take everyone by storm, or I thought he was going to come out in the Mornington Cup and bounce back. But sadly, he's just a different horse, isn't he?
Yep. No, anyway, they're persisting with him, so that's interesting. They keep taking him to the races. So anyway,
very strange. Now he's got to carry the extra weight now, and I don't think he can. Have you got an opinion?
No.
Good. Race 8 is the SA Derby, and Coco's Son's off the map here at 2,500 metres, 750 into 390. Antrim Coast is also well backed here, 10 into 550. Warmonger 440 out to 650. Bold Soul 850. Ahariri 950. This is one of yours, Walt, from last time you sent it out. Glad you think so. Is $16. Gold Wolf $17. A Samurai Mind for JJ is $17. Air Assault $20. Sunsets $26. Bussett and Young. That was a very really interesting placing as well. It's coming out of the Mornington race there as well. So against the older horses, and then you're out of stock $26. Shinjuku $26, and Just Brilliant $26. Replay I'm going to have a look at here, or the horse that I like, is Warmonger in the Chairman. So you got Bold Soul, Just Brilliant, Air Assault, Tulsa King. Interesting the way he jumped here, I thought. Lane could have put him in the race, but he decided to drag him right back out. And it just looked like a real prep run. Blinkers come off this time, and I think he's going to push more forward, and they just don't want this horse to fizz up. But the last 200 metres, this horse just kicked into overdrive. And sure, Bold Soul goes on and wins the race. I think he's a big danger and a big chance, but I love the way he got going from an absolute impossible position. I'm not worried about the market drift here. I thought they just installed him at crazy price, $440. I think this horse can easily start $7 or $8. I think he'll go midfield. He won't go all the way back. But he's the horse, to my eye, that is absolutely crying out for 2,500 metres. I'm a little bit worried about Coco's Son at 2,500 metres. I couldn't take $3.90. Antrim Coast, I can see why they've backed it. I think Bold Soul's right in the race. Ahariri coming back in trip from the St. Ledger. If Warmonger was in that same race, I think they would have finished right alongside each other. If not, Warmonger would have knocked that horse off, in my opinion. But I think the three main dangers here, or the three that will fight this race out, is 7 Warmonger. D-Lane will give it a better ride this time, and there'll be much more intent, which is so important. And the other big lesson I think I learnt last week, and even seeing it a little bit this week through Warrnambool, there's a lot to be said about grand finals, and you just can't keep peaking these horses. And there's a few horses that have already seen their grand final days. And Warmonger, this looks like grand final day for him, and that's why I sort of lean his way. Horses like Estrella, they can hit this big peak, but then they can all come off. So my big pearl from last week is horses have grand finals for good reasons, and time and place is sort of everything. So the intent there will get him across the line for me. I've got big worries about Ahariri. I think it'll go close, and then Bold Soul's sort of Mr. Consistent, and Paddy Payne can really re-peak his horses as well. So they're the two. I sort of half went looking for Gold Wolf, but I think Bold Soul's got its measure.
I've got an opinion here.
Go for it.
I'm concerned they're coming out of like a walk and sprint up, and they were good runs. Warmonger, Bold Soul coming off slow tempos, overcoming them. Leader went way too slow, obviously, which cost it its chance, Old Air Assault. But I just 2,500, and you're going to talk about pearls. We'll talk about Mark Lambour because he's such a nice man. He's probably the first person to ever sort of publicly say the old 2,400 metre run for 2,400 metre horses, and it certainly doesn't hurt. And if I've ever seen a horse that's a Melbourne Cup horse in the making, it's Ahariri. Like it looks like it wants 3 laps, and she was just super dominant the other day. Great ride. Once she lobbed in that spot, it was game over. And this is probably a deeper race, but I just don't understand why she's sort of going to end up around $10. I just thought it was a pure, like the race was over 600 out there. And whilst this might be a little bit tougher, she's going to run the 2,500 on her ear, and they've got to do it yet. And Coco's Son's the other one, even though it's off the map, it's probably too short. Now, it's coming out of a hard run, 2,400, was it? Or 2,000, what was it? Group 1, the last start, and the 2,000. So it's coming out of a stronger run race as well. But I think it's too short. I'd rather back Ahariri each way here, and I'd be surprised if 2 or 3 others outstay her. That's why I think it's a great each way bet, because I just think she's going to be super strong.
DK?
Oh, that was, I told you, I flicked that, I did the race and it came up with exactly the same horse. And Oh, the first thing is the different form. She comes through the different form. She comes through the Adrian Knox, where despite drawing 16 of 16, she had a very solid SP. She started 750. Automangel started 550. Automangel then come out and won the ATC Oaks. Then she came down to Melbourne and that St. Leger and just had just perfect little squirt up. Like, it was a slow tempo and everything, but the way she accelerated just put them to bed. I just went back and had a look at her maiden wins and her runs before that. She just powers to the line. She's going to be so strong at the end of the trip here. And then, like, Coco Sun's a doubt at the trip. Warmonger, the blinkers are coming off because he pulled the other day. I know it was a slow tempo when he restrained him, but he got his head right up. I don't think it's ideal that they're taking the blinkers off for him. I think they have to get him to settle. Antrim Coast is a one batter. As Walter, I just think she's the 3-year-old filly with a different form. Will be strong at the trip. At the odds, Ahariri for me too.
I'd be happy to play Warmonger late and Ahariri, so you can get, I think you get nearly $7 or $8 for Warmonger, and you can already get $9.50 for Ahariri. So it should be an easy watch, and we sort of agree with our lays there. So great value to play in the SA Derby, and it should be a cracking race. Looks like, it's an absolute beauty this year.
If Coco Sun was entitled to run past Vibrant Sun, the runs they had the other day. I know,
100%.
Don't you think? Like, if it's going to be strong at the trip, it should have run past Vibrant Sun. That was only 2,000. Now it's got to go 2,500. Had the perfect run in behind them, clear all the way, sucking up behind them. Perfect to strike and run past Vibrant Sun and couldn't do it. I don't know if it'll run 2,500 to me.
Oh yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's got me bamboozled why it's been 750 into 390. I can sort of understand it. Antrim Coast sort of being up in the firing line for a long way.
How had Gold Wolf run past it last start? Like, there's another one. Like, it should have won. If it was any good, it should have beaten Gold Wolf home start last start, shouldn't it? I know MD's back on and it'll run the trip. It's a stayer, but I thought it'd win the other day and bloody Gold Wolf ran past it.
Don't need to talk about it for any longer. So Warmonger and Ahariri, bet up with a fair bit of confidence there. We're going to go to Donny's Best next. He got the cash last week. Gringotts was off the map. A couple of good scratchings, but let's see who likes it at Eagle Farm.
G'day, boys. Best man this weekend is race 2, number 15, Mr. Heatchote at Eagle Farm. I was dragged out the back at Randwick first up. Barrier 1 here will sit much closer to the action. This is far easier than what it's been racing in. I think it's a really good bet. $4 is a bet early. That's way over. $3 now, still a good chance. Race 2, number 15, Mr. Heatchote, Eagle Farm.
$2.90 there. So Donny thinks it's still good value. Barrier 1, Jake Bayless is the only.
Barrier 1, Jake Bayless, a mile.
Fence off.
Doesn't matter. On, off, whatever. Good luck.
Scary.
Very scary.
Scary
stuff. He's not a horse. Maybe they could give him a dig and he could hold a spot, but I'd surprised if they would try that game. Obviously, knowing the Derbies, their one real aim with this horse, but that's not as if they won't be trying to win this race. But I'd be a little bit scared. Easier
option than the Guineas for sure. TopSport Steamers, none from form last week, so need to lift here. Nice lay for Tristan, according to us, boys. The first bet, Morphettville Race 8, number 15, Coco Sun, $333 at 7. Looks like he's partial, so someone smart's taking that price knowing it's going to go off shorter, but would be all happy to lay it in the bag. Maybe Tristan sends us these bets because he wants to go on with them.
Well, that was tough. It was $9 into $4.50 or something, so it's halfway down, wasn't it? So you assume that it was someone that can shift a market that chimed in early.
Caulfield Race 6, number 9, The Shaper, $200 at $11. Not sure that DK's got that
Haven't got
far.
that far. I did see there'd been money for it, so when I was flicking through, I hadn't done the race, but I saw there was money. I saw the fluctuations and there was money for it. It's up against, what's it up against there?
Anglin's favourite.
Anglin,
Grinzing a Bell.
It's up against Anglin. I wasn't sure about Anglin because it very impressive on debut, and then the other day it sort of regressed a bit, so I wasn't surprised.
Was that in that little field where it's at 3 wide and it was a heavy track or something? It was a weird race, wasn't it? That's Anglin. Yeah. Oof.
This is Eagle Farm Race 3 is the next bet here, and this is Typhoon Tavi. This horse has just been spearing straight to the front. It's one of Donny's horses, actually. He's been all over this horse the last couple of starts. Talia Fenlon claims 3, goes to the front and just makes all. So $2.15 into $1.65, so $1,700 at $2.15 there. Hawkesbury Race 9. This is one of Donny's other horses. These could all be Donny's bets. Race 9, number 17, Fall for Sydney. He's wedded to this horse. $308. Hawkesbury Race 9, number 17, Fall for Sydney.
Jet Stanley on a back marker.
How is Jet Stanley going?
Yeah, should be going, but he's somehow staying. Yeah, that's one of those races we talked about, sort of Chorlton Lane, interesting. Kaboo first up, Snowman first up. It's just highlights coming off a win last week, which was a sit and squirt. Rise of the Masses first up. Oh, my God. Like, it's just all about pattern and luck in running there. Good luck.
Looks like a nightmare, diabolical sort of race, that one. TK, winner last week, and you're going back to one of your old. You're going to forgive one here.
You remember, Skeet. You remember. I was going to say yes.
Yeah, I do.
I don't do it very often. Normally they get beat on me like that. I normally put them in the bin.
Life.
But, are you going to show the trials?
Yes, we
For
are.
me?
So it's a Chuka Friday, race 2, number 1, Big Jimmer.
Big Jimmer, named after Jimmy Steins, owned by all the Melbourne Illuminati. So he's in the Demons colours there. Jay Allen's just sitting on him 5th there. And you know that GIF where the bloke blinks? Like it's like, what the, really?
Yeah.
Watch this thing.
Yes, I do.
When this thing there's a trial like this, at the end of this trial, I'm going, oh, shit. And then it did its first trial, this prep on the synthetic, it did the same thing. I say, right, let me go and look at the gear changes here. There it is, gelded. Right, different horse. So his greenness got the better of him first prep. He showed me ability on debut. I went for him at Moonee Valley. He was green. He was one pace. It was a walk. And so I potted him on here, but anyway, I'm giving him, that was only his second start, green horse, and just this little bit of work here. Johnny Allen Harley squeezes him up, and he just can only go on 2 to those things in front of him. So look, he's resumed, he's gelded, he's a different horse, obviously, he's got a stack of talent. He went around 6-4, heavily backed. They expect him to win on debut at 12. Resumes here at Echuca at 13, which is really good. Draws low, which is good, and he's only got to beat Hellish. And old mate Hellish, he promised the world and delivered an Atlas early doors. Went to the sales. Danny O'Brien bought him back, put a heap of new owners in him. Just can't win a race, So he'll be up the front. Big Jimmer parked behind him. If Big Jimmer runs up to these trials, I expect him to just round Hellish up. So Big Jimmer.
DK, this is a little bit of a red alert bet. Knowing how your pattern works, you're very unforgiving once one turns it up. It's like when you're on a Waller.
Yeah.
Or you find
DK
Rachel
rolls
King.
into like last week, the one he was Trent horse.
If there's Trent, the sirens.
There's red flag, there's red tape that you've got to work through to.
Robbie Hickmont was one with this because he's not exactly setting the world on fire, Robbie Hickmont. So, I think the gelding. When I saw the gelding, I thought, hello, blank canvas for you, lovely. You have a look at it. If someone goes and have a look at the synthetic trial, it does the same thing, just tracks. I'm going, oh, hello. So let's hope it can get the money there and round up. Only has to round up Hellish, who'll lead and give a kick, and this will just come after it like the thing did when it rounded up Hellish at Ararat.
What's the bottom price that you'd chime into this horse? Because they can put up a mistake. What price? I reckon when are you going to stop betting?
Me?
Yeah. So what? Evens? What do you think they
should be
might put
6-4. Should people say I might want further and things like that? And it's got a map close enough to Hellish. Like Hellish will jump on the bunny, give a good sight. It's hard fit. So Hellish will be, the models and all that. I like the map. The map people will love Hellish. Consistency factor, map factor. So it has to map. Oh, it's 6-4, probably 250, something like that.
Hopefully they put up $5.
Yeah, it'll last. It'll last. DKV the bots.
Oh, hopefully the bots go. Hopefully they put up $3 the bots on Hellish, and then the bots get the wrong one. They might bot off the wrong horse.
Yeah, well, these are the ones they can miss. That's for sure.
DK will be sitting in the tab just feeding in tickets and vouchers and smack on. Is that what he'd be doing?
No, you get $5. You got to get $5 tickets on there. You got to put like 100 of them in, like these days. Like it's hopeless. Like, anyway.
It is.
Unless you're the old mate betting on the last race and you can just get your 5,000 straight on the old Instagram fellas. Isn't it amazing?
Who's funding
that? Well, it's not amazing. It's
misleading to be fair, but it is what it is.
It's got a big whiff about it. It's not too kosher, and it's interesting the responsible gambling.
What's the last favourite? I'll just take it.
We should go in there, DK. Wait for this to come up. Sit in the tab and wait with a $5,000 voucher and see how we go.
It's amazing in this day and age that someone can be. You open up account at a joint and they say, "Oh, yeah, we want your bank history and we want all this sort of stuff." Blah blah blah, and you have to fill it in. But you can walk in 4,000 over the counter and sweet.
Yeah, well, you can't. That's the idea.
Jesus Christ.
Not very often you can. Not a new face or anything like that.
It's very strange.
Or a known face.
It's very strange.
Anyway,
it
is good for racing. Getting eyes on racing.
All right, let's That's the end of the show. Hopefully, we've tipped a couple of winners. Check out the TopSport Top 2 special. I'll pair up Mal Wallet because it looks like a really good bet. I won't say that word that everyone's thinking, and I'll pair it up with something else that we like, so we get a good little div on the Top 2 special, so you can jam TopSport after a bleak few days at the Bull when everyone, including the track managers, been under severe
it was
pressure.
Good, mate. I think I had $50 on 2 horses yesterday, 2 Wombats in the chat ship. What about Trev? Everyone's going, well done, Trev, after Tuvalu kicks. He's like, what are you talking about? I didn't even watch the race. And I think he mentioned that old fella Rob Todd found it in the yard, and everyone's chimed in at $11 like it's a moral. Yeah, it's quite a funny game.
It's a sad day when old Trev or Henry doesn't want to bet at the Bull. He's been down the Bull a million times, and if he chucks it in, it's a sign of the times.
Exactly, and it's strange because he's like you said, he loves it. You say, he wants to, but it's just tough.
Yeah, we'll be betting lots over the weekend with our syndicate too. We've been awfully quiet with the Bull. We pulled stumps on, I think, the last 3 races we had bets, and thank Christ we didn't send them out as units because it would have just been confetti, or it was. So we tried to save money there. Can't remember a Bull where I've turned over less money. But DK, good luck with the junior sport on the weekend, and well done again for filling in for Nico Noonan. You've done a stellar job.
Thanks, Scoot. Yes, no, plenty working. I was up very early. So I did the Walt thing. Had a look last night and going, I'll have another look. Wake up fresh, get up bright and early. Isaac said, why are you getting up at 5 a.m? I said, mate, got to prep, got to do the work. That's what you got to do, So up we were, and hopefully we can find the punters some winners, Scoot.
Can't make money sleeping in.
When you're in the wrong mood, you could look at any race and they all look like just nothing can win. And then you come back 20 minutes later,
fresh, and
something sticks out like dog's balls. It's a weird game.
Heaps better to do the form early in the morning. Early bird catches a worm. All right, we'll see you next week, and hopefully there's plenty of meat on the bone. Good luck.